times I've been profiled.
True. Mm-hmm. I'm agnostic. I don't think that me doubting that there's a God changes Minister Jerald's beliefs at all. So if a white person denies or plays this game about is it really right, there's no way to prove that. Like
it's because it's never happened to them.
But part of it is that we do have to, I think, get away from that game of proving it, not proving it. How did you feel? And get back to what Dr. Woods is saying about, which is how does a black man in America defend himself psychologically, emotionally, physically, and otherwise? I think he's put something on the agenda, which is teaching our young men and boys, just like we teach them to get in football and all these other sports, right. Teaching them how to do takedown, self-defense. Grandmaster Cook, who used to teach no-strike self-defense in the city of Louisville. Right. People like that, number one, I think that's a basic, and that can't be done through JCPS. That can't be done. No. That can't be done through your community center with your city grant. So that's the first thing. So can we establish that that's the one thing that's been on the table of this conversation?
Well, I want to suspend.
If anyone disagrees with that,
I'm in agreement with that.
Self-defense,
broader than self-defense on the field.
No, but he's talking
about the whole.
Yeah.
But I want to expand on it because here's the deal. So as we talk, first of all, man, I commend you for just saying, are you really? Because I ain't saying nothing, man. Because they look at me and that beat me upside my head. So really, that was bold.
Actually, it was out of shock. It was just my
because you talk
reaction.
You get Billy Betts. I done got beat down. But I think there's something else. We talking about solidarity.
Because you're dark skinned.
And let's be real. I'm not saying that. What? Yes, sir. Call me Uncle Tom all you want to. I'm not getting beat down the side of the road.
Stephan's got a better coach with you.
But here's my thing though. We talking about
a little bit stuff counts.
But hold on. In this conversation, I like where we're going, and again, I have to go back. I didn't intend to stay stuck, but this Trayvon Martin thing has really bothered me. But I think when we talking about everyone staying in their lane, I like that. But then what I think about goes back to what you say. We don't have to go outside our community, but I think about how do you get resources. So it goes back to what you're saying.
That's what I want to say. All options are on the table.
But wait a minute. It goes back to what you're saying in terms of how they see us, because here's the deal. In our community, as I listen to us, one of the tools that we're going to have to be able to do in helping you do what you do so well is working with the families. Sure. So if you got a kid over here who ain't trying to hear a whole lot of, he's hearing you, but he really, his mind is on other places. Right. How can I connect with his father? Now, real talk. Now, let's be real about this.
Well, the whole family as much as possible.
Well,
as often as that can happen.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not excluding the mom. I'm saying a lot of times though you gotta.
That's right.
A lot of times though we don't even have fathers involved because it's not that they don't want to be. In my opinion, they got to deal with the struggles of working with that mom, and they have to deal with all the other garbage that we're talking about. So one component of this work would be how do we have that support system for that kid? And we're going to talk about making sure that we don't have Trayvon Martin-like tragedies here in our city. Part of that is, as we're giving the tools and we're talking about this tactical, we got to be able to support. What do you mean?
We had that with, what's the kid, the U of L kid on 2nd Street?
Daniel
Covington.
The football player. That shot the baseball player.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
He argued castle doctrine that.
Yeah. No, maybe I'm not clear. I'm talking about finding ways to get the parents involved, specifically fathers, and then finding a way to get society to even support that initiative. Because so many times, once they get past middle school, going back to what we talking about,
there's too much money being made off of.
Yeah, but I mean, but it goes back to what. But wait a minute. It goes back to what we've been saying, and we can't say it's too much money. We all know that. That's that rule. That's the unspoken in this room. We know that we got to keep these brothers down. But the point is, if we're really going to talk about improving our community and making sure we don't have too many Trayvon Martin-like tragedies in our community, then we have to find a way to work with the men.
The only reason I disagree with using Trayvon is because his father was involved. His father.
When I say okay, let me just say this: supporting our black boys. I'm saying supporting our black boys. At the end of the day, we still have to be realistic. A lot of our boys ain't having any action with their. I was at the Gentleman's Academy. Half those kids didn't even have a father in their life. Then on top of that, I asked about the mom and the dad. You know what they told me? My mama is my mom and my daddy. So you talk about some tools. I'm sitting there like, whoa, wait a minute. I gotta get you to understand. Your mom ain't no daddy.
You know one thing we could do that could really help? If we came here once a month, pick the same, the first Tuesday. and just gave a report on what we're doing in the community. Because see, leadership don't talk. If I say, hey, I got this going on this month, Doc, what you got? Because we don't.
Now, can I be honest with you? At a point that would drive me crazy.
We had something.
I hate meetings.
No.
I hate meetings, man. No offense to anybody in this room. I just hate meetings.
I do too.
Well, you gotta not hate this meeting.
See, the reason why I hate meetings as well is because we talk about what we're gonna talk about, and at the end you still don't have anything. If you've noticed, several times I brought back ideas like stay in your lane, us doing a forum. So I do want to have something concrete, but it's like I know of you all, and some of y'all know me, but you all don't really know what I do on a daily basis. And like you said, you do a lot of work where, I tell people, when you see me on TV, I ain't doing nothing.
No.
Sometimes I'll go just so it'll get me an audience, with some people. I was in a meeting the other day with some pastors, and I wasn't there for the meeting. I was there to talk to them because I can't get all them together. But if the chief of police is there, they'll show up.
Well, let me ask you this. There was something that was suggested thrown on the table at another meeting. It was a sister. Another meeting. But it was something that was, no, it was at the community panel that we was on, Ebony. And one of the things they said,
Yellow's Club?
Right, it was about, you talking about coming and reporting out. She also said having a calendar. We talk about solidarity. But one of the things that we don't do, I should know everything that you got going on where I can come and get on my Twitter.
Right. That's what
but I'm talking about a calendar. I could have sworn you said come and report out. I thought.
No, but what I'm saying is basically like, okay.
Y'all laughing, man.
But hold on But like, as far as like, let me give you an example. Like, just me knowing specifically what you do and what you're passionate about. Like, for example, with me. I'm a minister. I'm in the Nation of Islam. My father's a Baptist preacher. My grandfather was a Baptist preacher. I love unity. I can work with Christians in this city more than a lot of other ministers can in other cities because of my background. But I do a lot of work with men. I have a group called Brothers Helping Brothers, and we get men together like this. And I go to barbershops and say, hey, can we meet here Wednesday at 6 o'clock? And I'll get 10, 15, 20 brothers in the barbershop, and we just rapping about what's your relationship like with your father. I mean, I've had brothers mention them being molested, break down in tears, crying in a room full of, but you may not know that I do something like that.
Sure.
I don't know. Only thing, honestly, what I know about you is, the Father's Day picnic, but I don't really know your day to day. I know you're out here doing stuff, but I don't really know what your skill set is. I didn't know that you knew martial arts. Just things like so we really don't know each other.
And that's something.
Can I get in for a quick second?
Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, first I want to just say thanks for pulling this conversation together. I know I've been kind of quiet, but it's kind of hard to be on the phone with a bunch of cats who's passionate about the work. I just want to give a couple of things that I'm doing for my seat with the city. Then also this whole idea of staying in your lane and coming together and how we all maneuver this work together by doing the work that we do, but also coordinated it in a way that makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as we stay in our lanes, how do we also open them up so that other folks can follow us? Because, Dr. Woods is doing great work, but one day he's got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we don't have a pipeline of folks who can do what Dr. Woods We are not going to be.
Can we at least go to chicken shop pub and do what you got to do, man?
So, we all got to.
What kind of liquor you like? So I know which one to pour
I
out.
just want to do a couple of things real quick. Yeah. The city got a technical assistance grant called Black Male Achievement. Some of you all in the room know about it. We've been meeting for the last 3 months, really trying to put strategies in place to get to better outcomes for our black men and black boys. So this conversation is timely, and I got to make sure I get all of you all on the email list. You can come in when you can. We've been doing work groups, really pushing the work.
Is that the one at Shawnee?
Go ahead.
Is that the one at Shawnee?
Yeah, that was the one we started at Shawnee, and we just had a last one over at the Bridges of Hope.
Okay, yeah.
So we just been moving the work, and I don't have everybody on the list, but I should have all you all on the list. Okay. I just want to make sure people know about that. And then also, there's this thing called Cities United that Mayor Fisher and our Urban League have signed up for, and it's really around reducing the violence among black men and black boys. Right. And then how do we, as a city, put together a plan, long-term plan, that can really focus on strategies of reducing violence, which all means we got to get to better outcomes for our black men and black boys. We can't have 22% unemployment rate and expect things to be okay. Exactly. in our community, right? We can't have 48% dropout rate and expect things to be okay. So we got a lot of work to do. Somebody was asking, what can we do? I think, man, sometimes it's just how do we show up and support young men and young women who are moving in and doing the thing. Because when I go to youth build graduation, I go to the youth graduation, we know predominantly most of those kids are going to be black, most of them will be black males. But in the audience, we're not there to support them, right? They don't need to know who we are. They just need to see us in the space and see us show up and come and be a part of the conversation with them, right? So I think some of it is low stakes that we can do, but then a lot of it takes, I think as Brother Jerald was saying, is we got to come together. I could care less if you hate me, if you don't want to be in them. If we don't have them, we can't strategize, we can't plan. We can't go months without meeting and thinking everything's going to be okay just because we're all out doing the work. It's not coordinated.
Yeah.
So we got to spend time. And for Brandon to pull this one together, for us to say, okay, how do we move forward? We can't drop the ball. So, I've been listening. I think there's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great energy. To have media in the room, to have lawyers in the room, to have advocates in the room, to have pastors and ministers in the room. I think that's what you got to do. And like I heard Philip say, we all can disagree. At the end of the day, we want our war to be better for our young black men and black boys. We don't want them killing each other, and we don't want anybody else killing them either. So I just wanted to put those couple of things on the table and say, I need help.
Yeah.
Right? I can't be successful in my role without all of you all. And I think it's vice versa. We can't do this work alone.
Anthony Smith. Hey, I think one thing, Anthony, man, is the emails. But I follow him on Twitter, and I follow Philip on Twitter. I follow Fred. If you don't know him, he's a lawyer. He went to Central.
Young lawyer.
He's at the public defender's office, and he wants to make this money out here.
Why is he the office?
He's sharp. No, man, sharp dude, man. With Georgetown.
I would have said he's the better
Start somewhere.